When Christmas time rolls around, many people like to make a gingerbread house to get into the holiday spirit. Today I'll be showing you how to make your own miniature gingerbread house from scratch at home. These are great to make with kids because each child can make and decorate a house of their own. It's helpful to use a template as a guide to cut out the pieces for the gingerbread house. You can find the one that I used as well as a copy of the recipe at snugglebunny.com. Let's get started. To make your own gingerbread houses, you will need 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ginger, ½ a teaspoon of allspice, ½ a teaspoon of salt, ½ a teaspoon of baking soda, ½ a cup of melted butter, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1 egg, and 1/3 of a cup of molasses. To decorate your gingerbread house, you'll need to make royal icing with 2 cups of icing sugar, 4 teaspoons of meringue powder, ½ a teaspoon cream of tartar, and 3 tablespoons of water. You'll also need a good assortment of candy to decorate your house with, such as gummies, M&Ms or Smarties, and candy canes. Sift the flour into a large bowl and stir it together with the spices, salt, and baking soda. In a medium bowl, beat the butter and sugar together using a wooden spoon for about 2 minutes. Next, beat in the egg and then the molasses. Now make a well in the middle of the dry mixture and pour the wet mixture into it. Stir until most of the liquid is absorbed. Using your hands, gently knead the dough until it's less sticky. Then remove it from the bowl and continue to knead it until the dough is an even color. Divide the dough into 4 portions and place each one on a piece of plastic wrap. Flatten each portion slightly, wrap it in the plastic wrap, and refrigerate the dough for at least 30 minutes until it's firm. When you're ready to bake, leave the dough on the counter for about 10 minutes, then unwrap it and roll it between your hands for a few seconds to soften it slightly. Roll the dough out between 2 sheets of wax paper. It should be fairly thin, up to a maximum thickness of 1/4 inch. Place the pieces of your template onto the dough and use a knife to cut around each one. I cut out my template from wax paper so it's easy to remove from the dough. You'll need 2 pieces of each shape for every gingerbread house that you'll be making. Remove the excess dough from the edges and transfer your cutouts onto a baking tray about 1 inch apart. Bake the cookies at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 7 to 10 minutes. As you leave your cookies to cool, you can start to prepare your icing. Combine the meringue powder, cream of tartar, and water and whisk until it's smooth. Add in the icing sugar and use an electric mixer to beat it in for about 10 minutes. Before assembling your gingerbread house, use a knife to cut off any crooked edges from your cookie pieces. The pentagons and small rectangles will form the sides of your house. Apply the icing to one of the short edges of a rectangle piece and attach it to the back side of one of the pentagon pieces. The pieces should join together at a 90-degree angle. If the icing starts coming out of the sides of your house, you can wipe it off to create a smooth edge. Repeat the process with the second set of the same pieces and allow them to dry for a few minutes. Now join these 2 pieces using the same technique and allow the icing to harden before attaching the roof. Apply 2 lines of icing to the back side of the big rectangles along the sides that are slightly shorter. Gently press the rectangle onto the taller sides of the house. Repeat with the other side of the roof and wipe off any excess icing. Be sure to adjust the cookie pieces until they meet at the top. Now it's your chance to be creative. You can decorate your gingerbread houses in all sorts of ways. I'm using Christmas-colored Smarties as the shingles on my roof. First, cover one side of the roof in a thin layer of icing, using a knife or spatula to smooth it out. Next, apply the candy in rows, pressing down lightly but with enough pressure to make sure the candy sticks to the roof. I alternated red and green Smarties and placed a row of green Smarties across the top of the house where the two sides of the roof meet. I also added accents to the front of the roof by pressing Christmas mint chocolate chips into the icing. For the door of my house, I'm using the curved piece of a candy cane, and for the window, I'm using a green gummy candy. Attach your candy accents to your house by putting a bit of icing on the back of the candy and pressing them into the house. When you're finished, you can eat the gingerbread houses or keep them on display to show off your hard work. I hope you had fun making these gingerbread houses. Send me pictures of your holiday baking by posting them to my Facebook or Twitter page. If you liked this video, you might also enjoy making Rice Krispie snowman pops. Check out my Christmas playlist for even more baking inspiration. I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and all the best for the new year. See you next time!